Why another e-bike review? Channel is full of adventures of you bike packing, going fast, and all the rest. Well, I'll tell you, it's because a lot of people need e-bikes, and the Hovsco Company reached out to me to review their HovAlpha, which is a full-size e-bike with fat tires and a really awesome set of specifications. So I couldn't pass it up because a lot of you folks out there respond to me and you ride e-bikes or you're looking at e-bikes. You might want to take a close look at this one. So here it is, the Hovsco HovAlpha. And it's quite a good looking bike. I must say that Hovsco does an excellent job. So let's see how this goes up by a 6% grade. Power level 3, put a little pressure on the pedals and that torque sensor kicks in, and it's totally effortless. Just going along here at 15 miles an hour. When I get to the end of the road, I'm gonna have a real hill. It's about maybe a quarter of a mile, between 8 and 10% all the way up. So I've got it in power level 3 and lightly pedaling up this 8 to 10% hill. I'm doing 11 miles an hour. So I'm putting a little pressure on the pedals. That engages the torque sensor, and it's a very nice ride. So I pedaled as fast as I could, and I achieved 29 miles an hour. Now we're gonna go down the big hill. Going down this 10% hill, these hydraulic disc brakes work very nice. They're very responsive, yet they don't grab. It's a big hill, it's over a mile long. Now I'm on a totally flat area. Let's do the throttle only. 27 miles an hour. That's fast enough for me. With these big tires, that rough terrain right there was like nothing. Between the fat tires and the front shock absorbers, it gives you a really smooth ride. So far I've done 6.1 miles and the battery still shows fully charged. We're gonna cruise up to the reservoir, my usual spot for reviewing e-bikes, and we'll go through the bike and take a look at all the features. Now I'm going up my favorite big hill to the reservoir. I've got it in power level 3 and lightly pedaling 16 miles an hour, putting in a little effort, but hey, it's a bicycle. And here's the steep part, and I'm just putting in enough effort to get a little exercise. Let's go find my favorite spot over here. 17.3 miles, and I still have 80% battery left. That's pretty unbelievable. My driveway is about 6% grade, and so I like to walk the bikes up to the street. And how do you do that? Now I have a grade here, it's probably 5–6%. I'm going to demonstrate walking the bike up that hill and see how easy it is. So I have it in power assist 0, and now I'm going to hit this minus button. Watch how the bike goes forward. So it's going forward at 1 mile an hour. Well, we're up to 3 miles an hour. Let's see how easy it is to get up this hill. I'm just guiding the bike. No energy whatsoever. 2 miles an hour at the top. Let's go park over here. So I'm up here at my local reservoir, my favorite place to do e-bike reviews. So here it is, the Hovsco HovAlpha. And it's quite a good looking bike. I must say that Hovsco does an excellent job painting their bikes, and the front tires are rather beefy. They're 4-inch, 26-inch tires, and you can run them at a pretty low tire pressure. They recommend about 20 psi. The pedals are quite nice. They have reflectors on them, and they also have some little nubs here so that your shoes won't fish around on them when you're driving. Front fender is made of plastic, and it's on there quite nicely. Both front and rear hydraulic brakes are equipped with 180 millimeter brake rotors. The front suspension fork coupled with the tires give you a very smooth ride. And if you want to lock out the suspension, you just turn it like that. Nice nameplate on the front. The front headlight is very bright. I'm going to go over the display when we're back in the shop. It's kind of hard to see on camera, although when you're riding it is very bright. Also going to go over the brakes and the push buttons here. This is your throttle right here. It comes with a very robust Thru motor. It gives you 750 watts of power sustained and 1300 watts peak power if you're going up a steep hill. So that, coupled with the torque sensor in the 48 volt 20 amp 960 watt hour battery, will really get you going. It comes equipped with a 7-speed Shimano derailleur, and like on the Hov Beta, it also has a protector right here. If you were ever to lay the bike down on this side, you wouldn't damage your derailleur. Feature that I like is the front sprocket has this guard on it, so you're not going to get grease on your pants. Again, the paint job is just second to none. Now that robust battery is right in here. Pretty easy to take out. You just flick the switch here and the battery drops out. And we'll do that back in the shop. For an e-bike, the seat is very comfortable. I wouldn't want to ride my age on this thing. I think it would give you a pain, but for this bike, it's just fine. The seat post is fully adjustable with this lever. I've got it turned around right now because I was experimenting with different heights and it was easier for me. But I'll turn it back where it's supposed to be before I take off again. Plastic rear fender. It's very well secured. I added this myself, so you're probably wondering why the bike didn't come with a taillight. Well, it was supposed to come with a taillight and basket so that you can go shopping with the bike or put your gear on it wherever you want to do, but they got lost in the mail. It was a separate box, so Hovsco is going to send those out again, and I should receive those next week. It also comes with a very robust kickstand. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Like all the e-bikes that I've tested, this bike did not come with a wrench to take the back tire off in case you get a flat. It's something that all these manufacturers really need to include in their little tool package. So just remember, always carry a 19 millimeter wrench with you in case you get a flat. Oh, along with a extra tube, tire patch kit. It's also ready to accept a water bottle cage, which I haven't put on yet. So that's it for the features I wanted to show you out here at the reservoir. So now we're going to take a ride back home. We're going to go up a really steep hill, and I want to see how much battery I have left when I get back there. 17.5 miles, and I've still only used 20% of the battery. So it'll be interesting, especially after going up that 1 mile long hill. Not a bad looking bike, don't you think? Go down my favorite side street. So I stopped by the side of the road to get ready to go up this big hill. It's about 1 mile long and it's between 8 and 10% grade. And I like to see if I can maintain at least 15 miles an hour in power level 3. And see what the battery looks like. I've gone almost 22 miles so far, and I've still got 80% of the battery left. So I'm very impressed. It's very comfortable to ride. You can really relax on it when you're going along. So let's give this hill a shot. Here's what it looks like. No, it doesn't look like much from here, but trust me, it's steep. Here we go. So power level 3. I'm doing 18 miles an hour. See if we can maintain that. Let's put it in power level 5. 22 miles an hour. 23. Averaged about 20 miles an hour going up that hill. Time to go home. So I made it back home. I've got 3 bars of power left, which 60% of the battery is still there. And that's after 26 miles of uphills, downhills, a lot of strenuous activity for the bike anyway, not so much for me. Now let's go inside. Let's take a close look at the controls on this bike. So the hydraulic disc brakes, they're very responsive and they give you a feeling of security. So here's the throttle lever. And instead of pedaling, you could just push this. So you get a lot of speed out of that depending on how far you push it. So here's the on-off switch. To push the bike on, you would push the on switch right here. Up here is the battery indicator. Underneath that is the power assist button. Over here, you would push the plus or the minus depending on how much power you want. So I go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we have miles per hour, and here we have a trip meter. If you push this information, it's an exclamation point button, it goes from trip meter to odometers. The other button here is to turn the headlight on. You can see the reflection on the cabinet. Now, one really cool feature, and I mentioned it previously in the video, is that you can actually walk this bike up hills under power. And I'll show you how you do that. So if you put the bike into power setting 0, which means no power at all, if you press this button, the minus button, for about 5 seconds, the bike will slowly move forward. It starts out at 1 mile an hour and it goes up to 3 miles an hour if you're on a flat, but as soon as you hit the hill, it goes back to 1 or 2 miles an hour. When I tried that on my ride, I was just guiding the bike along, and it made it up the hill. I really like that feature. Another feature I really like is that whatever power setting you're in, and if you're pedaling along and you're giving the motors a lot of help, down here there's a line that comes up, a graduated line of little dots. And depending on how much power you're putting in, it will actually show you right here. It'll go up or down. So when you lightly pedal, going downhill, the line will be all the way over to the left. And if you're really exerting, it'll go all the way up here. So that is an indication of how much battery you're using. And it's really nice to have if you're looking to conserve battery. Oh, I'm pedaling a little too hard, because that torque sensor transfers your pressure on the pedals to the motor. And it calls for more power if you're asking it to. So you can really use that as a barometer to help save your battery. Over here is the 7-speed controller, and you push this button to get into a lower gear. And then if you want to downshift, there's another button right here, and you'll push that and you'll go down to a higher gear. Let's say you have a bike rack you want to put the bike on, and they do make them for e-bikes, I'm sure you may be aware. They have a ramp on them, and you can use that feature of walking the bike up the ramp, or you can just take the battery out and then the bike will weigh about 60 pounds and you can roll it up the ramp. So either way, it's a really good feature to have. So now let's see what it takes to take this battery out. So before we remove the battery, I just want to make note that on the bottom of the battery, mounted on the bicycle here, there's a waterproof tab, and you just open it up and you can charge the battery while it's on the bicycle, or you can also charge the battery after you remove it. So to remove the battery, the first thing you would do is put the ignition key in. Now, without the key, nobody can take this battery and steal it while the bike is being left unattended. So you turn it to the on position and you simply move this lever to the side, and the battery just wants to fall out. And then you lift it up, and as simple as that, the battery is out. And to put the battery back in, we would just reverse those steps, and then we would lock it and take the key with us. Well, here's the battery. It's very robust. The thing weighs a little over 10 pounds. That's much heavier than any of the foldable e-bikes that I've tried out. So what do you get for that 10 pounds? Well, you get a battery that's going to last you quite a while as far as your riding range. It's a 48-volt system, and this battery operates at 20 amp hours and 960 watt hours, which is very robust. It's on the top end of the scale for e-bikes. And what about fire hazards? The other e-bikes that I've done video reviews, I've gotten comments with, oh, those are those cheap Chinese batteries. They're going to light your house on fire. Actually, one person said to me, if my bike catches fire, is the company going to pay for a new house? That's a little silly. These batteries are made by the Samsung company, and they're made to the highest standards. And if they weren't, they wouldn't get the RoHS mark and the CE mark, which is European, but it's much like the mark that we have in the US, which is the UL mark. So UL and CE are synonymous with each other. And myself, coming from a manufacturing background of electrical equipment, it's very hard to qualify to be able to put that mark on your product. It costs you a lot of money and time, and you have to really be up with the highest standards in the industry. Which brings me to another point. You know, I've gotten comments from people that say, oh, those cheap Chinese e-bikes, or those cheap Chinese bicycles. And I did a little research, and 90% of all bicycles, be it regular pedal bicycles or e-bikes, are manufactured in China. So what are you going to do? Your Trek, your Specialized, your Giant, all the big names are manufactured in China. Most of all of the big names in e-bikes are manufactured in China. They may be packaged in the US. I would say the point I'm trying to make is look for quality, but not all e-bikes are good quality. So you can usually tell by the price, the reputation. Are there dealerships in the United States? I know that Hovsco has dealerships. They might not be in your town, but they have a very big dealership network, and they're a very good company. So that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it. It's a good bike, and I have a discount code down below. So if you are interested in purchasing this bike, use the discount code, and you can get a little more money off of your bottom line on buying the bike. So thanks again for watching, and as always, happy pedaling and have a great day.